Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, since we now got the actual announcement and it's on the compete tab of the cash cups, I basically decided to do a video on how you guys can start performing better and maybe even potentially winning some money, or even getting those top 100 placements or top 200 placements or whatever you're looking at to do and accomplish. Well, basically in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do that more efficiently and hopefully even get those top 100 placements or money placements. So if you're looking forward to this video, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, make sure you're using the creator code WraithFN in the item shop, and let's get right into the video. So the first thing you're going to need to do, and this is obviously super important, you don't want to be like completely have no idea what's going on the day of the cash cup or the second of the cash cup, and it's basically figuring out where you're going to land, what your drop slot is, and what your loot path is. So for example, if you like to land, I don't know, Frenzy Farms, or let's say Retail Row, if you like to land at retail and you're going to land there during the cash cup, you should know exactly where every chest is, every ammo box is, where you're landing in retail. Are you landing the big house? What happens if someone goes big house? Are you dipping out, or are you 50-50ing them at big house? Are you landing shop side? Where are you landing, and how are you going to rotate depending where people are? If you land shop side and people are big house, are you going to go the opposite side? Or if you have good loot, are you going to go push those guys at big house? Whatever the case is, right? It's just super important to know a general game plan of what you're going to do and where you're going to land, which I'll talk about in my next tip. But for right now, for the drop spot, it's just super important to know what's going to happen with where people are, what you're going to do, and how you're going to react. Obviously, you can't kind of make sense and estimate what's going to happen in every scenario, but you can have a general kind of plan and idea what your rotation is going to be through your loot path, as well as where you're going to land. So now coming into my next tip, and this is kind of similar, but it's to have a game plan, but not only for your loot path and your drop spot, but have a game plan for the entire 10 games of the cash cup, right? So for example, a lot of people will just go start the cash cup up and play. They play like they normally do. They'll try and get some top 25s, try and get some placement, try and get some kills, blah blah, right? That's not really what you should do. You should be looking for what your goals are. If you're looking to get 40 points, if you're looking to get 60 points, you should generally know how many points you need every single game, or every single 3 or 4 games, to get to that point level. So for example, if you're behind a little bit on your 4th game, if you like, say you need 25 points per 4 games, right, and you're at 20 points, well then you need to know, you need to have a good game here. You need to know that you need to play a little bit more aggressive or super passive to get those points to get back up to where you are. Also, you got to figure out, okay, well, what's my play style going to be? Depending, again, on your play style. Are you a super aggressive player? Are you a super passive player? For example, my plan is basically getting the first 2 games, I'm going to play super aggressive, try and go for like 6-7 kills, as well as that top 15 placement. Obviously, if I can do better, perfect, I would love that. If not, I know I'm getting a couple kills, and even if I don't, if I die off spawn 2 games in a row, then whatever, no big deal. I go straight into my passive play and play a little bit more passive. I'll still push and fight people if I feel like I have the advantage and I feel like I can kill them, or if I get a good damage shot on them, or a snipe or something like that, then 100% I'm going to take the fight. But after those first 2 games, or sometimes 3 depending on how I do in the first 2 games, I'm going to play a little bit more passive and just rile down a little bit. But for example, if you're a controller player who loves W keying for all 10 games, go ahead and do that. Just stick to your game plan, do whatever feels best for you, and do what you know you can do well in. So now my next tip is play smart and don't take bad fights. Now for some reason, some people think just because they're playing aggressive or they want to go for kills, that no matter what, if they see someone, they need to push someone. That's the biggest mentality in Fortnite right now, in my opinion, is the W key mentality, where if you hit someone for 30 damage, you're pushing. And I see it so many times, where even, I'll admit, sometimes I do it. A lot of people in, for example, West, and which is my kind of region, a ton of people do it. If I get hit for 30, that person is W keying me, right? Which in reality, it's not always the best idea to W key someone. Even if you hit them for 100 damage, if there's 26 people left, 27 people left, and there's 2 people there, it's probably not the best idea to go push up, right? Because you're just outside of placement, as well as it's just, all you have to do is wait for 2 people to die and you get placement. As well as if you push up, there's 2 people there and you have a potential of getting killed, right? Now, for example, if you snipe someone in the back for 150, well, then it's a little bit different. Then you can go push up, whether it's 26 people, whatever the case is. But you got to pay attention to when you're W keying and when you're taking fights. Like for example, if you safe zone's all the way in salty and you're still at craggy, well then it's probably not the best idea to just stay there and fight, right? Like you probably want to start rotating, get out of there. Yes, you're missing out on a kill or potentially, I don't know, even like some free loot or whatever the case is. But if you're going to die or get stuck in the storm that bad, it's not worth taking the fight, right? So it's important to keep in mind that it's good to be aggressive, but it's not always the best idea to be aggressive. So my next tip, and this is probably the biggest tip of this video, and this is no matter what, stick to your game plan and don't tilt. Every single one of my friends, and including myself sometimes, especially with cash cups, with how they go and how people play so dumb in most games, it gets super frustrating, and you just get super frustrated and you don't want to play them anymore. But trust me, in my opinion, it is so important that you get rid of that like mentality of where you don't want to play anymore and just go through the top 10 games no matter what happens. Even if you finish at 5 points, if you finish at 50 points, just keep grinding through and finish it off. Now there's a couple reasons for that. Number one is because if you keep quitting during the cash cups, in my opinion, when it comes to a normal tournament, whether it's FNCS, next World Cup, whatever the case is, you're going to have the mentality where the second you start doing bad, you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to get off, which is a terrible mentality to have because you're going to start playing worse. You're going to want to get off. You might even get off when a big tournament comes around, which is definitely not what you want to do. As well as some people, like, for example, after 4 games, they'll be at 0 point and be like, okay, well, I'm doing terrible. I'm going to get off. Not really, right? Like, so many pros and so many players, you can be down 5 games and just have 5 games in a row where, say, for example, you win 2 of them and come top 15, top 10, and then like a 37th place or something like that, and you're back up at 60 points, right? Like, it's all just like a matter of keeping in mind that no matter how, unless you have 1 game left and you're at 10 points, there's still a really good chance for you to do really well. Even if you win your last 2 games, let's say you get 20 points each game, that's 40 points. So even if you're at 20 points after 8 games, you're like, okay, I'm terrible. For example, obviously it's a low chance, but if you win the last 2 games, you're going to get 40 points. You're going to end up at 60, which is a really good like mark to end at. So basically, just trust me. Try and get rid of that mentality of where you don't tilt. Just stick with the game, play it out, as well as you get some power rankings, like you get pushed up in the power rankings, so that's important when you're looking for a duo, trio, squad, whatever the case is. But in my opinion, just don't tilt. If you feel like you're getting upset, you feel like you're getting mad, go outside, go wash your hands, go run your face underwater, just take like a 5-minute break, go on your phone, something like that, kind of reset your mentality and get back into it. Pros are so good, especially in professional tournaments, of resetting their mentality, so you need to start learning that right away. Now, another good thing that bad thing that people do when they start to get frustrated, or just when they start to be like, oh, I don't really care, or not take the cash cup seriously, is hot drop. Where in my opinion, I don't personally think you should hot drop. Even most pros don't really hot drop in cash cups. Like a lot of them think they're a joke with the prize pool, but they still play them seriously and try and get the best that they possibly can. Like for example, Kanata, Booga, Unknown Army, Benji, like all those players obviously try their hardest and do really well in the cash cups just to get prepared for tournaments. And if you start hot dropping, it kind of just will trigger your tilting ability, like I said in the last tip, where if you start hot dropping just like for whatever because you need some kills or because that's your play style, where if it's your play style, hey, I mean, I guess that's your call. But in my opinion, if you hot drop, there's going to be so many times you're going to die off RNG. You may be the better player, you may not be the better player, but a lot of the times you're going to die just because of RNG, or you don't get a weapon because there's so many people in the vicinity. So in my opinion, just not hot dropping and sticking to your game plan will help you avoid tilting, as well as just help you overall do well. And basically my last tip is, like I said, is treat this like a tournament. I know it's hard, I know it's almost no cash on the line, but the sooner that you can start taking small tournaments like this seriously, the better you're going to be in the long run, especially for the bigger tournaments where you're going to be already in the zone. You're going to be ready. You're going to know what you need to do, what you need to perform, and how you need to perform to do well inside the tournament. When these other people who have just been joking around, not really taking them seriously, are going to be like, well, frick, like, what do I do now? I'm starting to do bad. Do I tilt? Like, do I get off? What like that? But if you've already figured it out and taken these tournaments seriously, you're going to be a step ahead of them for the actual tournaments. So basically take this, in my opinion, as like a practice game for the actual tournaments. Take it seriously, try your best, and do your best to perform, and it will set you up for success during the real tournaments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.